Hey everyone, and welcome to another video. In this series of 4 videos, we're gonna go through a few different orchestrations of the same theme. So I've been writing this little theme that I used for an online tutorial I did at Evidence, but I decided to use the same melody and the same chords and the same kind of main elements and orchestrate these things into 4 fairly different styles. We got one which is like an atmospheric string and piano thing. We got one which is more of a soaring Hollywood string theme with like some horns and stuff. And then we got the more epic two-step from Hell thing with like percussion and choirs and staccato strings. And at the end we have one which is a little bit more mellow with some synths and some ethnic instruments. So I'm going to go through all of these. I'm going to break down different orchestrations, look at how we've been using the melody, the counter melody, the harmonies, and which instruments I've been giving them to and why, how I've been achieving separation between the different elements in these orchestrations, and the main kind of mindsets and frames I've been using to achieve these orchestrations in what's actually a fairly short amount of time. Because before I did this, I already had the main melody and the harmonies and things, so I probably spent just about 5 to 10 minutes of each of these orchestrations. So I'm gonna quickly just play through all of these now for you, so you know what you can expect, and then we're gonna keep diving into this one in the first video, and we're gonna take like a video for every orchestration after that. So without any further ado, let's just jump straight in and listen to the different orchestrations. And let's just give the string theme a little listen as well. Let's move up to the more epic version. So there we got that one, and finally we got this just quick little thing I did with some synths and some ethnic instruments just to prove how the principles are kind of the same when you're working with those kind of instruments as well. It's not really that different from using orchestral instruments. The same principles of separation and using the main elements and all that jazz is basically the same stuff that we have to consider when using synths and ethnic instruments. So let's go. So that's the final one. Okay, so let's just start by diving into this little atmospheric string theme. That's the first version of these 4 orchestrations. So before we do that, I just want to open this little piano track, because this contains all the main elements of my composition or this little theme. I got the melody, I got the harmony, and the counter melody just narrowed down into a piano sketch. And as you might know by now, I really like to simplify things and play around with the piano to get to only the bare necessities that really make up my theme. So let's play through this and you'll hear how everything that's going on in this little piano sketch is basically everything that's going on in the bigger orchestrations as well. Alright, so before we actually move on, I'm just gonna quickly go through the different characteristics of the things we got going here, just as a little recap of the composition chapter. So, I have this melody that is based on this little motif. Actually, let me just delete the counter melody for now. We're gonna bring it back later, so don't worry about that. Let's see here. So you see I have this little motif, which is an interval, followed by this little melodic movement. And you see that's what's going on all over the place here. Interval, melodic movement, interval, same kind of melodic movement, just in the opposite direction, which is the variation. Then we got the same thing again with a similar kind of melodic movement and an interval. And, oh, it seems like I took it away. And then I used the same kind of intervals, just moving downwards to create a little destruction. So it's all built on this little motif here. Now if I just undo everything and look at the counter melody, you can see that the counter melody is sort of an opposite mirroring of the melody, but this is not consciously done. This is just something that happened naturally as I was playing around with a little easy quick counter melody to use for this theme. You can see that I have this opposite movement. This is going down and down while the melody is going up and up, and you can see that the counter melody is moving while the melody is resting, and the other way around. You can also see that the shape, if you can call it that, of this counter melody and the different types of movements are not too different. It's not like this one is jumping around everywhere while this one is stepwise movements. You can see how they're all fairly similar in the way they are written, so they work pretty well together. There's a little like call and response thing going on here, and then I just have the root notes in the piano here outlining the chords, because the melody and the counter melody is also doing a good job of outlining the harmonies in this theme. So now let's look at how I've been using this in the first theme. In the second, third, and fourth theme and so on, at least the two other ones, I have been using the counter melody, but for this first one, you will quickly notice that there are no counter melodies going on, because since this is a very simple and atmospheric theme, I've chosen to keep things very simple and just focus on the melody without any other distractions. Let's play it through again, and then we're gonna break things down a bit more. Alright, so what's basically going on here is that we have the main melody, we have the chords, and then we have background textures. Those are the three main elements that make up this theme. So now let me just see if I can open some MIDI here. I want to look at the strings, which you can see is mostly just doing the chords. You have the root notes here, sometimes doubled in octaves, or actually doubled in octaves all the way, with just the chords moving the closest way to the next chords, just played by strings right here. And at the ending we have some high strings just doing a little drone thing on the root and the fifth of the key. So there's nothing super interesting going on in the strings here, but like the bread and butter of this arrangement is the piano, because the piano is playing the harmony and the melody itself.